What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Okay, if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below on how you found my channel, how your New Year's is going, and make sure you follow me on all my social media, which is in the description box. And what else? I think that's it. Okay, so as you can see by the title, this is gonna be real juicy, real long, get ready with me / story time, okay? I asked on my Instagram, I gave 3 options of what story time stories you guys would want to see, and this was the top one. I'll probably do, I think the second one was why I quit working at these jobs I used to work at. So that would probably be another video if you guys want to see that one. It's an interesting story. So yeah, if you guys want to see a video on that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and let me know. But for today's video, it's going to be on my stupid baby daddy and what really went on with my pregnancy. Go ahead, grab a drink, grab a snack, because this is going to be really long. If I'm all over the place, I'm apologizing now. I'm apologizing in advance for maybe not making any sense. I just wanted to come straight off the dome and give you guys the truth. Stay tuned. Where do I even start? Like, I literally don't even know where to start. I'm gonna try and start from the beginning. Okay, so wow, this is really happening. Okay. So what year is it? This is 2021. Right now. A little backstory, okay? If I'm looking over here, it's because my mirror is right here, okay? A little backstory on, actually, let me just use, that doesn't have a mirror on it. Backstory. So, I actually met my baby daddy at Hooters, okay? I met him at Hooters. His dad was the general manager of the store I worked at the time, and opening day he was there to like congratulate his dad on the store, whatever. Mind you, he is he's not from Oklahoma. He's actually from St. Louis, Missouri. That day I was obviously doing my job. I wasn't paying attention to who was there or whatever, but even whenever I did meet him, I didn't recognize him. He didn't look like anybody I knew. And at the time, obviously, because I just met him, I did not know how long he had been in Oklahoma, or anything like that, or where he worked or anything like that. So come to find out, he worked at another Hooters location with a friend of mine. And she was there opening day. Sorry, I'm trying to like get it all together, okay? So I apologize. She was there opening day as well, and she saw us kind of making eye contact, being interested in one another, and she was actually sitting at one of my tables. So I was actually taking care of her and her friend. She told me, she was like, hey, I see you talking to him, look at him, whatever. He works at my store. Basically, I can like set you guys up type shit. So I was like, okay. I'm like, I don't even know if he's looking at me like that, whatever. Fast forward, she ends up being the middleman. We end up exchanging numbers, and that's how we started talking. And let's see. We already had a rough patch in the beginning, which was partially my fault. I was not completely honest about what I had going on already at the time. And to be honest, like once I found out that he wasn't from here or whatever, I didn't think that he had any intentions on really staying or like working here long or whatever. So I just didn't think that we were going to go anywhere basically. And so that's why I wasn't being as forthcoming with all my life. But I mean, I'm not going to lay every single bit of my life on him the first, couple months that I'm meeting him or talking to him. So yeah, oh my gosh, this is gonna get crazy. So we're dating. We have like normal couple problems. We both had trust issues really bad. I have trust issues really bad. And fast forward some more, we get a little bit more serious. We end up moving in together. Oh my gosh. that looks hella light on me. We ended up moving in together, which was not the best idea, okay? Because we barely knew each other. And whenever you live with somebody, it definitely changes the relationship in the sense that you guys are now handling responsibilities together, and you're seeing each other on a daily basis, you're seeing each other's habits, and it's just different, okay? It's just different. And I feel like we needed a little bit more time outside of living in the same space to learn about each other before, you know, making a commitment that's serious. So we're living together. We really, we become super infatuated with one another, thinking that, you know, we're just so in love, and it's a new relationship, and this is really light. Oh my god, it's really light. Hopefully it oxidizes on me, because I just got this and it's freaking like, what the fuck. Anyway, we're just gonna keep going, okay? We're like really in love, and we like are still trying to make everything work financially. You know, things weren't going so well, whatever. So fast forward some more, I end up getting pregnant. And because we were so in love or whatever, we had touched on like, you know, having kids and everything like that, but that was like, you know, future tense. We weren't trying to really make a baby, okay? But at the same time, we were both like, it was understood that if it happened, it happened. You know, we weren't gonna be mad or anything like that. We were gonna do what we had to do. So I ended up being pregnant. Still at the time, we had trust issues, and it didn't seem to be getting any better. I was obviously stressed out because I was carrying a baby. I was freaking out. I'm just like, how am I supposed to do this? Like, we're not even in the right place in our lives to be taking care of another human being. At least I didn't think I was. And I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, we just have to figure it out, obviously. I mean, we have no choice but to figure it out. So things get worse. He did and said everything in the book. He called me every name in the book, and I just was basically just putting up with it and just settling and just like, fuck it, I'm stuck. I'm gonna be attached to him for the rest of my life, and this is how it's gonna be. And I was just like, shit. I mean, what could I do? I needed his help, what little help he was giving me. And all I knew is that I'm like, I can't do this on my own. And I mean, I don't want my kid to not know her dad. So fast forward to, let's see, I'm 5 months pregnant. Our lease was about to be up in our apartments. Like I said, nothing was getting better in our relationship. And so I made the decision. I'm like, okay, you know what? You need to get yourself together. I need to start preparing for this baby because you're obviously not helping me. And, you know, I was like, since our lease is ending, you maybe should go live wherever you want to go live at. I'm gonna go stay with my mom, and I'll see you when the baby gets here type shit. So that happens. I moved back with my mom. First off, let me say, he had a drinking problem, okay? I did not realize that it was a drinking problem until we had moved in together. And that's part of the reason why I said, like, you need to really make sure that you get to know somebody before you move in with them for reasons like this, because you don't get to see everything. And I mean, you can't, I don't know, maybe you can, but I don't feel like you really learn everything about somebody until you live with them. You can't learn every single thing by just seeing them a couple times a week. So I did not realize that through our few times of going out to eat. And now looking back, I'm like, yeah, our freaking first date, we were drinking and freaking just throwing it back, and he was all for it. And I'm like, I I like drinking, okay? I like drinking. I'm definitely non-alcoholic, and he actually made me, like, he drank so much that it like made me not want to drink anymore, because it was like literally disgusting. Like, he would wake up, he was that person that would wake up, and before anything, like before getting out of bed, he would freaking drink whatever bottle was beside the bed or whatever before brushing his teeth, before anything. And like, it'd be 9 in the morning, and I'm like, what are you doing? And my thing is with drinking, okay, or my thing with him and drinking is that I don't care how much you drink if you can handle your liquor. I don't care. My thing with him was that whenever he'd drink, he'd literally become a different person. And it sounds like a fucking movie whenever I say it, but it literally was. And I've never been with anybody who had any type of like addiction. So it was a major shock to me. And also at the same time, I was kind of brushing it off and just thinking like, because I'm just like, no, like, I mean, I know people can be like that and it's sad, but I'm just like, I'm like, there's no, he like, what? You can stop drinking. Like, you don't have to drink all the time like that. Like, no, but no, he literally had to. And it took me a very, very, very long time to realize that, among other things. And I should have just saw it for what it was in the beginning. He was just like a completely different person when he was drinking. And I didn't like it. Not only did it change him, but like, it affected us financially. And I'm just like, there's no reason. I always told him this. I'm like, there's no reason why we should have a case of Bud Light in the fridge and no fucking milk, no fucking eggs, no groceries, or no fucking toiletries. Like, this stuff doesn't just come with the apartment. Like, I have to go buy these things to keep us good. Shampoo, body wash, toothpaste, all the stuff that you use on a daily basis, I provide. I mean, I wish I could spend my money on makeup, on getting tattoos, on shopping, whatever I want to spend my luxury stuff that I want to spend my money on. But instead, I'm over here taking care of us and paying for stuff that we need, while you're over here blowing your money that we definitely need on your alcohol and stuff like that. So it definitely pissed me off and took a huge toll on me, because I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this can't be happening to me. This can't be happening to me right now. Like, I'm literally trying to carry this baby. And if you guys don't know, now you know, whenever a woman is pregnant, she has very little patience, okay? And I'm just talking about me, okay? Because everyone's different. I had very little patience. I had a temper. I get frustrated easily anyways. I'm about to need to turn on this fan because I'm getting hot just thinking about it. So yeah, I'm about to set my under eyes real fast before. I was pissed off because of just everything that was going on. Our relationship, we just weren't in a good spot. So that's part of the reason why I went to my mom's. I could just focus on me and that baby, okay? I'm at my mom's. We go back and forth between like, we're trying to make this work, we're trying to still be together. Initially, I was just like, you know what? My thing was, I'm like, I want what's best for this baby right now, okay? I'm not worried about being with you. I just want to take care of this baby, have a healthy environment, and, you know, a cordial, healthy, I guess, relationship with you. I just want to make it work for the baby. Nothing more, nothing less. That was my thing. So throughout all this time before I delivered, we went back and forth on if we wanted to be together or not, whatever, okay? Towards the end, I was like maybe between 7 and 8 months pregnant, and he would come and visit me at my mom's every once in a while, just be around, you know, me whenever I was pregnant, making me think that he was really gonna be there, and he was like trying. And I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell what was genuine or what wasn't with this man, I'm telling you, okay? So I didn't really think anything of it. You know, I appreciated him coming by, whatever. Anyway, he would come and see me, like I said, okay? Now, let's rewind a little bit. So since we met, okay, he never had a car. I was the only one that had a car. And, you know, I always try to think like, am I a bitch for like not wanting to fuck with somebody that doesn't have a car? And it's like, no, you're not, because a man should have his own vehicle at the very least, okay? And if, I mean, whatever, to each their own, okay? But that is where, I'm not gonna say that's where I messed up, but that should have been something that I didn't just completely disregard, and I did. And I was just thinking, like, everyone goes through it. Everyone has those days. Nobody's perfect. Hannah Montana. But seriously, I'm just thinking, like, everyone is going through something. And I'm not going to fault him for, whatever he had going on. Which he did have stuff going on at the time. But that shouldn't have affected, us, okay? That's his problem. And he should have figured it out. Or just not be with me. So he never had a car, which was always a problem, and putting more stress on me because I'm like driving him to work all the time or letting him use my car to go to work. And I just felt like I was the one that was providing and doing everything, okay? And on top of that, being pregnant did not help. So fast forward, that was one of the things whenever I was at my mom's, I was like, for us to be together, I need you to get a job. If you didn't have one at the time, I need you to save money, have money saved up. I need you to get a car. Basic stuff that he should already have or should already want for himself. And instead of having me, like, bribe him into freaking being with me. Like, no, he should already want those things. So that was my criteria to be with me. If he wanted to be with me post having this baby. He said everything to me, like, yes, babe, I'm gonna work on it. I'm working on it. I'm gonna do it. I want this. I want to be with you. I want this family to work. I want us to be the perfect little happy family that he always said he wanted to be, whatever. So I gave him the chance to do so, whatever. So he comes to my mom's house and he pulls up in this new black Mustang, okay? Pulls up this Mustang. I'm like, wow. It doesn't matter where you work. You can stack up money and get whatever you want, okay? I'm not downing anybody. I know where he works. I know how much he got paid. And the other shit that he had going on, I'm not going to mention his business, but other shit that he had going on, I knew was taking money away from him. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, where did you get the money to get this brand new car? Unless there's something wrong with it where you got it for like dirt cheap. How did you get this brand new car? And he tells me, he's like, yeah, well, my cousin, he works at this rental place and he was able to rent me this car for like a couple weeks or a week or whatever for really cheap, and just instead of like Ubering or whatever, it's a lot cheaper. So I'm like, okay, like, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I mean, whatever. And he continued to, whenever he came to see me in that car. So I'm like, okay, like, whatever. It's, this is a real thing. He's not lying to me. Okay, I'm not thinking anything of it. And at the same time, since we're not living together, I'm obviously not seeing what's going on in his phone or who he's talking to and stuff like that. And I am not a person to be like that, okay? I try not to be. I have been, and I try not to be. I try to stop myself, but I'm telling you guys, okay? And all my ladies know, dudes, y'all know too, okay? You get this feeling where something ain't right.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I may be crazy. You can call me crazy, whatever, okay? So I did stuff like that with him because he made me feel like I could not trust him. And back then, I didn't address it like I should have, and that was bad on my part. So he kept coming to see me in this car, and I'm just like, oh, like, wow. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, you're, taking what I said into consideration, and you're making progress is what it seemed like. It seemed like he was making progress, and like he really cared about what the fuck I said. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not praising him, but I'm happy that he seeming like he cares. I did have a baby shower, okay? He was invited to the baby shower, and he did not come to the baby shower, okay? He will forever say that that was my fault, whatever. He was invited. We sort of planned things together. He was in the loop in the planning. He wasn't involved in the planning, if that makes sense. As far as like finding the spot, booking a certain day and time, figuring out, you know, food stuff, figuring out games, figuring out who's coming, figuring out what we want to ask for on our baby shower registry. All these important things because we're having a baby, okay? We're not getting a new fucking pet that we can just wing it and say whatever, you know, we'll just see where it goes. Like, no, we need to plan. He was invited. He knew what time, he knew where it was, and he chose not to come. He said, I think he said he didn't have a ride, or he didn't know if it was still going on, or I think he said I made it seem like it wasn't going on or whatever. But either way, had he showed up and just to be curious to see if I was having the baby shower still, he would have been more than welcome to come in, okay? Now, was I begging him to come? No, I wasn't. I don't even think we were talking at that point. But if he showed up, then it would have been fine by all means, okay? Whatever. So I had a baby shower. My great friend, she pretty much was like my baby daddy and the whole thing. Like, she went in half on me with like everything and did everything and tried to make it as stress-free as possible for me. And I'm forever grateful for her, and not just her, but like a whole bunch of my other friends too, and my family. So yeah, that I'm glad that wasn't a big chaotic thing like it could have been. But yeah, so the baby shower is great. Baby shower is over with. Okay, so I'm gonna take a pause on him for a second, because that was kind of just how our relationship was going and everything throughout the pregnancy. Now let me touch on my actual pregnancy, okay? So whenever I found out I was pregnant, I found out whenever I was almost 6 weeks pregnant. I was like 5 weeks and like some days. Whenever I was 5 months, I don't know if this happened before or after we moved out of the apartment, but I remember obviously I was 5 months pregnant, because that's whenever you can find out gender. I mean, you can find out earlier through like DNA tests or whatever. And at first we were going to do a gender reveal, but then with how our relationship was going and how stressful everything in our personal lives was like already freaking falling apart, I was just like, no, I cannot juggle a gender reveal. And we were gonna do freaking fireworks too. It was gonna be so cute. We had gotten news prior to finding out the gender that the baby might have spinal bifida, which is basically where there's like a bump in the spinal cord. Come to find out, was not spinal bifida at all. Like, her spine was fine. We found out the gender because we're just like, you know, whenever we found out the spinal bifida, it just kind of, I mean, whenever you hear any complications with your kid, you're gonna like freak out and, you know, be worried. And so with that going on and everything else, we came to the conclusion, we're just like, okay, you know, it's hard for us to be happy and excited to see what the gender is whenever we know that, you know, there could possibly be something wrong with our baby. And so we're just gonna cancel it and just, you know, find out the gender when we go to our next appointment or whatever. So we go to the next appointment, they give us an envelope, and I think I was gonna wait to open it or something like that, but I ended up just opening it right then and there, and it said, it's a girl. And I showed it to him, and we were so happy because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a little mini me. And yeah. Oh, also, he already has a kid, by the way. She's a little girl. I don't know how old she is now, but yeah, so it would have been his second daughter, but yeah, it would have been my first. But it was at one of our appointments where I was getting an ultrasound. I think I was getting an ultrasound like every other appointment maybe, or every 2 appointments I was getting an ultrasound, because I think from the spinal bifida point is whenever they bump my pregnancy up to high risk. And so I was being seen a lot more frequently, and then I think I was moved up into like a different part of the hospital once we really found out what was going on. I'm not sure. Anyway, one of our appointments, we're looking at the ultrasound, and sonographer, she was, you know, talking to me about the baby and just being talkative, and, you know, made me feel okay. And then it was this appointment where she was, you know, looking at baby and wasn't really saying anything, and I just felt the vibe that something was wrong and she wasn't saying anything. And so, you know, she left. She said she was gonna be back or whatever, gonna go talk to another doctor or something like that, or someone else was gonna come and talk to us. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, because things kind of look a little bit distorted on the screen, and whatever she's typing, clicking, you know, I'll ask questions, but sometimes I don't even know, you know, what it is I'm really looking at, or if it's not obviously, you know, wrong, then, you know, if like the head isn't there or something like that, or if I see one arm or one leg, you know, something like that, then I don't really know unless I ask or unless she tells me. So you know, I'm just thinking like, what could it be? Like, I don't know. So I'm like freaking out. And so she comes back, or someone else comes back, and tells us that our baby has a birth defect called omphalocele. But they didn't know at the time, you know, how bad it was. And so we're just gonna, you know, monitor it until I delivered. So kept monitoring it, and then we finally got to a point where it was confirmed, like, okay, my high risk OB, he was like, that's exactly what this is. He was explaining it to me. And what it basically is, and you guys can do your own research if you want, omphalocele is basically a hole in the stomach. It's usually right below the belly button or right above it, and where some of your major organs are outside of your body. So it's like a hole in your belly, and your organs are like seeping out of that hole. And she had, I remember they saying like her bowel, some of her intestines out. I don't remember what else they said, but stuff that shouldn't have been out anyway, okay? She was not supposed to have that, okay? Because gastroschisis is, like I said, a milder version of that, and it's a lot smaller hole. So it's like that compared to like that, and where like a sliver of like your intestine will be out, and then they'll essentially push it back in and then sew it up and everything's fine. Well, with hers, because it was so large, first of all, she was weighing in every time a lot smaller than she should have been with how far along I was. And because everything was outside, that was also changing the weight of her as well. And so he said basically it would be the same concept as, you know, as far as like procedure wise for the gastroschisis, where they would just kind of push everything back in and then sew it up, but it would be a slower process. And I guess like she would be in the NICU, and they would just, you know, day by day or week by week, I don't know, but just slowly, you know, kind of just push everything in. There's a time lapse I watched on YouTube of like that process, and it was just like slowly pushing everything back in because obviously she's a baby and she's already small, so you don't want to put too much pressure on her. And then, you know, sew her back up. And then he was like, you know, this happens, even like pieces of paper they gave me with like all the history and like info and whatever behind it, that happens to like 1 in every freaking million babies or something crazy like that. He was like, but once, you know, they do that procedure, whatever, the babies, you know, they grow up with like a little tiny scar on their stomach, and then no one will even know that they had that, you know, surgery done or whatever. And so I was like, okay, you know, I was obviously still worried, but it was hope. And I was just like, okay, well, you know, that's what we're gonna do. I mean, shit. And this headband's like hurting behind my ear. Okay, I'm gonna do my hair because I have to do my eyebrows, and that's it. But I cannot focus. Her being diagnosed with like that birth defect, I was scheduled to have a C-section because they're like, there's no way you could have a vaginal birth with, you know, what she has going on. It could harm me and definitely harm her. And so I'm just like, obviously I'm not doing that. I want to do what's safe for the both of us. And so yeah, I was scheduled to have a C-section, and it was, I think when I delivered, I think I was a week or two early from full term, from being 40 weeks. I just felt so scared, and at the same time so alone, because I just felt like, okay, I'm not gonna cry. I just felt I don't know, I just kind of felt just alone, because I'm just like, this is me and this is mine, and I want to do everything I can to take care of it. And I just felt like I felt so helpless, because I'm like, there's literally nothing I can do, and I just have to give it into the hands of these doctors and hope and pray that everything, you know, goes well. And that's hard. I was freaking big as ever. I was huge. I'll see if I can find the picture and I'll insert it right here. I was huge, okay? I was huge for, I mean, just for how small I knew she was. And so I was just like, I am huge. But I remember looking at myself in the mirror that day, and I'm just like, I look really big today, and I don't know why. Like, she just looked like she had just dropped, and I'm just like, I don't know. And so I had went over to my friend's house, and she lived right around the corner, and like my family was like not wanting me to like do too much, because obviously they knew everything that was going on, and that I was, you know, they just want me to take it easy. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna freaking like go party or anything like that. I'm just gonna talk to my friend. And so she came and picked me up, and I was literally at her house for not even an hour, I want to say. Maybe it was like an hour or so. And I'm literally just sitting there. I'm sitting on the couch, and her daughter was there, and it was just me, her, and her daughter. And I'm sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden, literally, all of a sudden, I freaking start gushing out fluids, and I start screaming, because I'm just like, I couldn't control it. It was just coming out, like literally like a freaking just like waterfall, fire hydrant, like just gushing, just coming out. I'm just like, I was screaming, and because I was screaming, she was screaming, and then her daughter was like crying because we were screaming. And I'm just like, oh my god, it's happening. Because I think I was freaking out because my water was not supposed to break. Like, I was having like a natural situation going on. I was supposed to have a C-section. And so I'm just like, what the heck? Like, this isn't supposed to happen right now. Like, I'm early anyway. Like, and so yeah, so I sat on the ground, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And so she calls the ambulance to come. She didn't want to drive me to the hospital, and she was trying to take me to like the hospital that's closer by her house. I'm like, no, like that will stress me out even more. I need to go to my hospital. I'm telling you, I feel okay right now. I don't have any contractions right now. For them to come, I eventually stopped, like the big gush of like fluid stopped, and then I was just kind of just leaking out just a little bit. My stomach, like, I guess because it was just all the water, like, was so like just deflated like a freaking balloon. And they put me on the gurney, and I was then having contractions, and they were like 7 to 8 minutes apart, I want to say. And of course they were getting closer and closer and closer, the closer and closer we got to the hospital. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like freaking out. Like, because that wasn't supposed to happen, I just didn't know what we were going to do at that point. And so I was just freaking out. And so I'm in the ambulance, and, you know, I have the dude there, he's counting my contractions or whatever. And I'm calling baby daddy to obviously tell him, because that, like I said, wasn't supposed to happen, what was going on. So I call him. I texted him first. No, I called him. Yeah, I called him, and then he didn't answer, and then I texted him, and then he didn't respond. I think I knew he was at work already. I don't know. And so I called the store, and I was like, hey, can I speak to so-and-so? And they're like, yeah. And then I wait for a minute, and then the phone just hangs up. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I call back, and then I'm like, hey, can I speak to a manager? They're like, yeah. And then I asked them if so-and-so was working, and they're like, yeah, I'll go get him. And then they hang up. And then I call back again, or the phone hangs up. I call back again, and then it's him on the phone. I didn't realize it was him at first. And then after a second, and then I was like, hello? And I was like, I'll make up a name. Dummy? Is that you? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, did you get my text? And he was like, yeah, I can't leave work right now. What? I'm like, I hung up and I started bawling because it was on speaker, and so like everyone in the ambulance heard, and I just hung up the phone and I was bawling, you guys, because I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like this, I had to be getting punked right now. This can't be happening because I'm not asking you to come with me to the mall and help me pick out fucking perfume fragrances or fucking bras or whatever, or to go shoe shopping with me. Like, I'm telling you that I'm having our child right at this moment and that you need to come right now. Like, this is important. You would think you would drop everything and go, right? I'm not crazy, right? Anyway, people in the ambulance were just like, you know, patting me and just saying, you know, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what I've been dealing with my whole pregnancy. Like, yeah, I've been stressed the fuck out. Yeah, so we get there. My mom, my grandma's there. We're waiting in the room. I had to freaking wait in the hallway, okay, for a room to open up because there was not a room for me to go to. And I'm just like, I'm like literally about to have a baby right now. Like, I need to get into a room. And I'm not trying to, you know, disregard whatever anyone else has going on, but I'm just like, come on, like there has to be a room for me in here somewhere. Like, what the fuck? I was freaking, everything was like stressing me out and freaking me out, okay? And then on top of like him not being there and that freaking stupid comment that he made, I was just like, what the fuck? And then my mom and grandma's like, you know, asking me where is he at, and I'm just like, I can't even go there right now. I finally got a room. My mom and grandma were staying there. They get me changed into a gown. I had to take out like all of my freaking piercings and stuff like that. Wait for him to get there and wait for them to set up the surgery room. And he finally gets there before I go into the surgery room. They get him changed and they, you know, tell us what's gonna happen and everything like that. So I go into the room and they freaking give me, what's it called? What's a shot in the back? I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. They numb me up and lay me down. They start cutting my belly and working to get my little baby out. So I look so fucking bougie doing this. Get my little baby out, and we had already picked out a name. Her name was Ryan. It was spelled Rhyan, and her last name was her daddy's name, and her middle name was my mom's name. And they had already told me, like, whenever she was born, they were gonna have to take her straight to like the NICU or whatever to get her like stabilized and stuff like that. And so I already knew that I wasn't gonna be able to have that skin to skin moment, which sucked because, I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. So yeah, I was sad about that. And at first, they're like, okay, well, with C-sections, you know, you may not hear her cry at first, so don't freak out. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't hear her cry, and I was still freaking out because I'm just like, okay, like, what? And I couldn't really see anything because at this point, they're trying to, you know, do stuff with me, you know, down there, whatever, get me straight, and they're getting her straight, and I couldn't really see because there were so many people around her and stuff like that. And then I finally heard her cry, and I started crying, and they put her in a little, like, incubator looking like thing, clear glass thing to, like, I guess it was like, I don't know, just I think like the temperature was different or something like that. But they brought her by my head, and I could see her and saw her eyes open, and Dad was taking pictures of her and everything when they were like cleaning her body off and stuff like that. Take her to the NICU. He goes with her to the NICU, and I was like, yeah, you know, you need to go with her, I'm good. And they take me into like the recovery room, where I had to wait for 2 hours before I could get sent to my actual room for the duration of my stay there. Mom was there. I was just like chewing on ice and basically just waiting until I was, you know, able to be let up into the room or whatever. And then Dad gets in there, and him and my mom, you know, he saw the baby and he comes to get my mom, and she was allowed to go up there, so he takes her up there to go see, and they took some pictures of her for me. And you guys, like, I really don't want to cry, but just like, it hits you because it's something you've been carrying for 9 months, and it definitely becomes a part of you. And you can be whatever type of person you think you are, but when you are pregnant with that baby and you create that bond already with that baby, because even though they're inside of you, I definitely felt a personality in there for sure. And I miss times like that, just seeing her moving my belly and stuff like that. Just knowing that there was like a little human inside me that was mine and that I was going to have to, teach and guide through life and all this crazy stuff. Like, it was so exciting. So with all of that, and then to hear, that something, is wrong, it sucks. And it just sucks. Of course, I went to see her, but I didn't like, seeing those, there's something in my eye. I didn't like seeing those pictures or whatever. So I finally get sent up to my room, and thankfully I was able to make breast milk. I was making a lot actually, and so I was really happy because that's like the best for your baby. And I was like, because I had already felt so helpless, like I said, anything that I could do to help, I was like all for, and I was trying to do it as much as I could and give her everything I could, since that's the only thing that I could do. And so I was doing that in my room, and I was able to go up and see her, whenever I wanted. But going up there and seeing her like that just broke my heart. And it may sound like mean, or I don't know, weird, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like, as much as every time I was in my room, I wanted to go up there and see her, because I'm just like, I want to be with her every second. Like, I just want to look at her. And then every time I went up there, I'm just like, she's not okay, and I don't want to see her like that. And I wanted to leave right away and go back to my room. So it was a constant like going back and forth of that. Not even 24 hours later, okay, the next day, I had all these doctors come in and talk to me. You can just tell, by look on their faces and just the vibe, that it just wasn't good news. And in my head, I'm just like, already like, I'm wanting to scream and pull my hair out, and I'm freaking out. And they're like, your daughter, her birth defect is a lot larger than what they had anticipated, and basically that they can't fix it. And they're explaining to me, and I'm trying to like breathe, and I'm trying to like contain myself, because it's so large. It's impossible. And that is not something you want to hear about your baby. They're like, even by some miracle, if we were able to fix it, she would not have a normal life. She wouldn't be able to walk, eat, talk on her own. She would be a vegetable. And that is like definitely something I don't want for my kid. And so I was taking in all their information. They still gave me the option, if you want to continue with everything, that's your call. At that point, Dad was not there. I told him, I was like, well, it's definitely something I need to talk to Dad about, because he, has to say so too. We need to figure this out together. And, of course, you're not going to say, I want you to stop trying for my kid. I don't want to say that. So I was just like, I'll run it by Dad, and, I'll talk to you guys whenever we come to a conclusion. He comes down and we talk, and I explain everything. I think they came by again and explained everything to him in person, and explained everything to my family. And so at this point, we're just like, what do we do? What do you do? I always felt like a lot of times in my life, it's always been like so extreme, and not just like regular stuff that people go through. And it's always just been, and most of it could have been, my fault. And I could have probably avoided a lot of stuff, predicaments I was in. But everything just seemed like just so abnormal. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, why me? Why me? And you guys will hear this a lot, and I probably already said it somewhere in some video on here, that I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, whether it's positive or negative. I believe that God has a plan for everybody, and even though it's hard to accept it sometimes, he, like I said, has a better plan and something greater for you, and you just need to trust him and just whatever is out of your control, give to him. And I try to tell myself that and actually say it aloud, but it's hard sometimes. It's hard, and it's easier said than done. I was just mad. I was mad and mad at myself because that there was just something wrong with me, and that's why she, was going through what she was going through. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it at all. I was trying to make sense of it, and I just couldn't accept the fact that things just happened. I was dealing with that, and Dad and I went up to see her in the room. After thinking about everything, talking to my family and to each other about everything, we came to the conclusion we are going to cut the cords, basically, because first of all, we can't even fix her. And they're saying even if they could, that she would not live a normal life. And if I know anything, I know that is something I do not want for my kid. For her to just, that's not a life to live at all. If she can't do anything on her own and literally be her own person and take care of herself, that's not a life. And it would be so selfish of me to have still gone through with everything, knowing the outcome. Like, I was trying to prolong the inevitable, basically. I just felt like it'd be selfish for me to just keep her around, to just have her, knowing that she couldn't even function as a regular person. So, yeah, that's what we decided to do, guys. And it broke my heart. It still breaks my heart. She was born October 16th, 2019. That is what this tattoo is right here for her. And she passed away the next day. It was the first time I held her too. And because besides that, she had to be hooked up to all these cords and everything like that to keep her alive. And she just would have been there for, who knows, months. And yeah, so that's what we decided to do. And it sucks. It sucks. And I never would have thought in a million years I would go through something like that. I didn't even think, once I heard what defect that she had and the possibilities and stuff like that, I was still, so positive about everything and still thinking long term, like taking her to school and like dealing with like a teenager, like how my mom dealt with me, just like thinking of how I'm going to like really parent and just the journey that would have been and how exciting that would have been. I was thinking about all of those things. So many things were going through my mind. I gave you guys a backstory, and that wasn't even like the half of it, but about my baby daddy, because I believe that what happened, so that way I wasn't going to be tethered to Dad for the rest of my life. Because as you guys have heard, without her even being born into the world, I was already like up to here with him and stressed beyond like no other. And having a kid definitely would not, I'm not saying it doesn't help. Maybe it does help men and bring people closer together, but I did not think that was going to happen for us. I thought it was going to bring more stress. It was going to make things worse, and who knows how that would have panned out. So I'm, in a sense, grateful, because like I said, I did not want to be with him, and I would have had to deal with him forever until she was like 18, but that's basically forever. And I just don't know. I don't know how that would have worked out. So I have my little guardian angel now. I think about her. So that's the story, guys. I think this needed to be said because I know so many people have been wondering and may not want to ask. If you want to know how I am now, I'm good. I'm very good at keeping things to myself and not really, what's the word? Like, not really revealing what's truly bothering me. I'm really good at that. So, but that doesn't mean that I don't care at all, or that I'm not thinking about it. So, don't mistake that. Because you don't fucking know me. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously. Because I know a lot of people think that. A lot of people think that I'm just fine, just living my life, but everyone copes with things differently. And for me, I need to be distracted to be distracted. I need to stay busy and try to stay distracted, and occupied. So yeah, but I'm doing okay. Do I want kids in the future? Of course, I want kids. So that is the story, guys. Okay, that is the story. And unfortunately, that was not the end of dealing with the baby daddy. It soon ended though after that. But yeah. So that's it, pretty much. Thank you guys for watching. If you stuck around this long, because you guys just want to be in my fucking business. I know you guys want to be in my business. I know, and it's just so funny. But no, I know a lot of people are wondering. A lot of people, I mean, I would be, if I was someone else and someone else was going through this, I definitely, wouldn't want to pry and be all nosy or come off as being nosy. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, guys. I promise. If you know me, I'm a really happy, smiley, outgoing person, and that really is who I am. I don't try to dwell on the negative things going on in life or in my life. So yeah. If you guys have any questions, if I left anything out, or if you want more detail about anything, let me know down in the comments. Or if you follow me on any social media platform, you can let me know on there. Or if you have my number, hit me up, call me. So that is it for this video. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and give me more ideas of what you guys want to see. I think that was a very good story time, you guys, okay? Good choice. Make sure you follow me on all my social media in the description box. And I think that is it. I will see you guys in the next video.